Welcome to the Hollywood Raw podcast. I'm Dax Holt. Adam Glyn is not here today. He is actually on a plane at this moment, headed to New Orleans for the Super Bowl. So he will be there. He does this every year, goes down there, covers all the big parties. I mean, there's so many celebrities in one city when it comes to the Super Bowl. Everyone flies out. And it's not just because they're going to the Super Bowl. They're really going out for the parties. You know, you've got the big Fanatics party that happens every year. I think there's like a big HBO one that happens every year. So he goes, he gets into all these parties. You know him. He sneaks in, does his thing, gets some great footage, and then comes back and talk about it. So I'm assuming next week we'll have some great stories on the Wednesday episode from all of his shenanigans that happens this weekend, and keep an eye on his Instagram page. There's normally some good posts that will be coming up over the next few days. So I'm rolling solo today. We'll see how this goes. But anyway, we will jump right into the countdown to get you guys up and going. I did get to see a couple celebs this week, which was fun. So my company, Trophy Smack, we obviously make all these big, like, over-the-top championship belts and trophies and awards. Well, there's a ladies-only league that Michael Fabiano runs, and he's big in the fantasy football world. And it's a lot of big women in fantasy sports. And the winners of this year were Rachel Lindsay from The Bachelor, Bachelorette, and then Molly Burnett, who you guys probably know from Queen of the South, and she's on Law and Order SVU. She does a bunch of stuff. So I got to go present these belts to them, and it was really fun. It was at Rachel Lindsay's house. We went up there on, Tuesday, and they had never seen the belts before. And I love the reaction when I hand over these belts. They open the box, they start screaming. You know, it's funny, if you don't play fantasy sports, like fantasy football, you basically shit talk your friends for months on end, and like becomes this thing. So when you win, it's a huge deal. So they were very excited to get the belts. They were super down to earth, really fun. It was great. I've met Rachel Lindsay a couple times. I ran into her in Vegas during BravoCon one year. She does the podcast Higher Learning with my buddy Van. And so fun getting to hang out with them. Molly is just a gem, like really a fun, such a cool, down-to-earth girl. Anyway, I had fun getting to hang out with them this week. Posted some photos on my Instagram page. We did a couple fun videos where I was presenting the belts out like it was a rose ceremony on The Bachelor, and calling Molly up, calling Rachel up. Rachel was really funny. She was like, I didn't think I was going to be here again, but this is better than I could have ever expected. So go check it out. It was pretty funny. All right, let's jump into this. We got to read one review real fast. This one comes from KFW0829. It says, love the countdown, 5 stars, best celebrity news breakdown, to the point and honest review of how celebrities are in real life. Awesome. Thank you, KFW. I saw a bunch of reviews coming in this week from people who were supporters. So it actually gives me, I was running out of reviews. I had read all of them. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to leave some more reviews, because I was getting to the bottom of the barrel there. We had read them all. So yeah, thank you guys. Really, really, really appreciate it. Okay, let's get into it. Today is the Raw Rundown, which we jump into. It is the top 10 stories of the week. Get you caught up before walking into the weekend. You know, you're at the Super Bowl parties and you're talking to people about what happened this week in entertainment news. Well, this is it. So number 10, Irv Gotti, a huge music producer, died at the age of 54 this week. He worked with some of the biggest people in the music industry, like DMX, Ja Rule, Ashanti. He, I guess, passed away on Wednesday in New York City. It's at this time, while I'm recording, not really sure how he died. We do know that he had a lot of medical issues that he suffered with over the years, had a lot of health problems. He suffered a stroke last year. He was walking with the aid of a cane. He had been very open with his struggles with diabetes. He wasn't consistent with taking his insulin. He admitted to that, and that his doctors had encouraged him to change his diet, which he also struggled to do. So we'll see if that played a factor in his death. But a lot of people obviously speaking out about it. He also worked with Jay-Z on his debut album. I mean, just a really big deal in the music industry. You probably know his name. Vanessa Carlton worked with him to produce her big album back in 2007, Heroes and Thieves. So everyone kind of knew who he was. He had left a lasting impression on the music industry, but he passed away at 54. So wanted to make sure we got that into the rundown. All right. Coming in at number 9, Khloé and Lamar sit down for an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and it was super awkward and some of the best TV I've seen in a long time. So they sat down to talk about all of their past trauma and putting it behind them. And this was on the season 6 premiere of the Kardashians, and what it was they hadn't seen each other in like 9 years. He showed up to her house, brought roses, a cake, champagne, and then ensued all of the awkwardness of him sitting there on her couch, not really sure what to say. It was really funny. He goes to actually sit down on the couch right next to her, and she was like, this close, huh? You want to give me some space so that we can actually communicate with each other? He moved over, and she also kind of poked fun at the fact that he was wearing a Lamar shirt, like his face on it. She's like, oh, wearing a shirt with your face on it, huh? Anyway, so as awkward as it was, I would say that it was really interesting TV to see them together communicating. You could tell that he is very remorseful over everything that went down. He had said, look, I know I put you through a lot. I'm really sorry. He's like, that love will never go away. He's sober now. He runs a lot of organizations to help people keep sober. And I think this is probably a part of his process of going back and asking for forgiveness from her. And they actually seemed totally fine. Khloé seemed in a really good headspace during this whole time. She understood that I think he needed this. He knows that he ruined this relationship. She even said, when was the last time I saw you? Oh, I was kicking you out of the Calabasas house on my way to Las Vegas. And I don't know. I thought it's good for him. It's good for her to have that, I guess, closure. Not every couple that went through a divorce or a nasty breakup could have this moment, and they did it. And I thought it was really healthy of both of them. But he definitely said, I guess she explained that she wasn't rattled when he referred to her as his wife. Oh, that's right. Because at one point he did say, like, my wife listened. She was like, I don't know why he keeps calling me his wife, but she had already processed their whole breakup, saying it was like a death. And it was rough. We all watched that breakup happen. It was gnarly. And she came out, on top, even though she struggled with certain relationships in her life. She seems like she's doing really well. So anyway, definitely suggest you go watch it. They've got a bunch of clips that are now out all over online. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's phenomenal TV. I mean, damn, the Kardashians really know how to make some TV. Who thought of it? Like, you should really meet up with Lamar. Like, let's get this all on tape. Go have him come over. You guys talk it all out. We're gonna get it all on camera. Damn, got the best producers there. All right, number 8. Liam Payne's ex-girlfriend opening up about his final days. She's really, talking about why she left Argentina literally days before his death. Kate Cassidy's her name, and this is her first time breaking her silence. She did an interview. I believe it was with The Sun. Who the hell did she do that interview with? I can't even remember. I'll get to it. But she sat down, did an interview, and it was The Sun, and they published it on Wednesday. But she basically said it still doesn't fully feel real to me that he's not here. She said, I think of him every second of every day. And she said the reason that she ended up leaving him, she didn't think that he was in a bad headspace or anything. She left him because she was like, I need to get home to care for my dog in Florida. And it wasn't uncommon for them to travel separately. And so she didn't really think too much of it. She goes, if I had known that something bad was going to happen, she's like, of course I wouldn't have left. But I had no idea that it was going to take such a dark turn, and that it really has taken a mental toll on her. And she said that she luckily did not find out about his death through social media. She was at home with her dog scrolling on TikTok when one of Liam's friends ended up calling her and delivering the bad news. And she said, look, like the first reaction was just blacking out. And then, now she's having to be processing this whole thing. So anyway, we've all kind of wanted to hear from her, and she decided to break that news with The Sun. So that is her side of the story. I think there's still a lot of fans out there questioning why she would have left, why, if he was in the throngs of drug abuse, to leave him alone. But I guess everyone's pointing the fingers. They're pointing the fingers at his buddy Roger. They're pointing fingers at his dad. They're pointing fingers at the people that he was hanging out with, his potential drug dealers, the hotel. It's, at the end of the day, point all the fingers you want, but he had a big role in his own death by choosing to do drugs. And, you can't sit here and blame everyone else. He made some poor decisions, unfortunately. All right, let's move on to number 7. All right, Gracie Abrams making a kind of a cryptic relationship remark amid the whole Paul Mescal split. Gracie Abrams, she's J.J. Abrams' daughter. She's become really famous in the music world over the last little bit. She's put out some big songs. She was at the Grammys the other day. She was the one that was wearing, it looked like a wedding dress. She had the veil on. Anyway, she sat down for an interview with Cosmopolitan and opened up about a bunch of topics, including porn and Taylor Swift and love and all kinds of stuff. And this comes on the heels of, there was a pretty famous article that came out recently on the Daily Mail that got a lot of buzz. And it was the fact that people had seen her and Paul sitting down at a restaurant in North London. And he basically had his head in his hands. Gracie was across from him. She was in tears, and then she stormed out. And everyone was like, oh shit, like they must have had a pretty nasty breakup. And they did it in front of everyone, but there was no real confirmation of whether or not it was a breakup or not. Because literally everyone saw it go down. Well, she did do the latest cover story where she talked about the relationship, and she described what a healthy one was. She said, look, what I love about a healthy relationship is that your life doesn't radically change. You fit into each other in a way that is positively challenging and deeply supportive. It's like a place to land. And then she kind of added some more fuel to the breakup rumors when she was asked about her Valentine's Day plans, and there was no mention of Paul. Like, you're gonna, if you got Valentine's plans, you think you would say it. And she goes, no, well, I'll be touring Germany, but I actually have a few days off. My plan right now is to fly to Paris, and hopefully with my producer Aaron, and we will write a song we love in a studio in France. All my love songs all my songs are love letters in one way or another. So that's my Valentine. And I got to imagine she's saying it that way because I'm assuming her and Paul are no longer together. So anyway, a lot of people are picking up that news and wondering if there's a full confirmation of them being split. So we shall see. And then, yeah, she talked about some other stuff, but nothing too crazy. All right, let's move on. This is number 6. We've talked a lot about Wendy Williams over the last little bit, and basically her journey trying to get out of this guardianship / conservatorship. And so now she says that she is not incapacitated from dementia, and her guardian is requesting a new medical evaluation. So, she is denied being diagnosed with front or temporal dementia. I don't know if I say that right, but her guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, claims that it will only get worse and there is no cure. And this is all according to court filings. So basically, Morrissey requested a new medical evaluation in a court filing hours after Wendy had gone on and done a bunch of talk shows. She did The Breakfast Club. She talked to our buddy Don Lemon. She had called Harvey Levin. I mean, she was talking left and right. And during these interviews, she had basically said, look, I don't have this front or frontotemporal dementia. She says it's disgusting, and she said it's a very rare thing for anyone to have. I am not incapacitated. I am not a baby. And so right after she spoke out against everything, the guardianship or the guardian, Morrissey, went and filed this paperwork and is asking the judge to have her reevaluated. And I think it's really to show that it is true that in fact there is some dementia going on, and that unfortunately the case could get worse. And I think that is to then make sure that she doesn't come out of this conservatorship, is my guess. Anyway, Wendy, I have to say, during all of these interviews, she sounds great. She sounds coherent. But I think with any mental issue, we can't judge it all based on 5 minutes. Unfortunately, you got to be with someone for a lot longer, understand the real ebbs and flows of that person and how their brain is functioning during other times of the day. So we'll see. Anyway, so that was a big story this week. Okay, and so here's what she said in the paperwork. She said, Morrissey requested Williams have a quote unquote a new medical evaluation that will involve comprehensive neurological and psychological testing by a specialist in the field following her public denial of her medical conditions. The issue is whether Williams has the capacity to assess what is in her own best interest, deserves renewed careful consideration by qualified experts, and should not be left to the careless speculation in tabloids, radio, or on the internet. She explains that she has no interest in pursuing further litigation. So she is saying, look, everyone in the world thinks that they are some qualified person to be diagnosing her based on listening to her in a couple interviews. We need to listen to experts. All right, moving on. Let's get to number 5. Halfway through this rundown, Paige DeSorbo clarifying Craig Conover's breakup timeline after there has been so many rumors circulating, calling her a cheater, saying that there was infidelity in this relationship. Well, she wanted to set the record straight. So she went on her Giggly Squad podcast and she said, look, I never, in the 3 years that I dated my ex-boyfriend, never physically cheated on him, emotionally cheated on him. And she said, can you mentally cheat on him? Well, I don't know, but I didn't do that either. So she is saying definitely no infidelity. She actually says the timeline is much different than a lot of people were thinking, that they broke up a month before she announced the split on her show back in December 2024. She said, since no one is sticking up for me on the other side, I will say that Craig and I broke up Thanksgiving weekend. That was back in November. Said Craig then went on and did a press tour for Southern Charm, did what he never ever needed to do, acted as if we were still together, and that was fine. She said, I could do that. He was processing in his own way. However, after Christmas passed, she said that Conover was presenting himself as single while on a trip, which led her to believe, like, okay, I guess we're ready to announce then. So she claimed that she texted him to give him a heads up that she would be sharing the news on her podcast and start moving forward. She said that her text went unanswered and she was fine with that. But the breakup episode came out at the end of December. And that is when the narrative around their breakup kind of like quickly took a turn and it went to cheating rumors. That went viral. And then she was apparently linked to a new man. And she's like, look, there is no new man in my life. I'm single. I don't know why I was being linked to a new man. She said, let me say this here now. I did not move on with some new guy. I'm single. I don't have a new boyfriend. I did not cheat on my ex-boyfriend. And she goes, it was a full month that we were broken up. I didn't say a thing. Even though it would have been public, there's certain things that should remain private. And he asked me not to say a thing. So she is trying to clear her name. So there was a lot of baseless rumors, she claims, that have my name in them. They are not true. And then she basically said, look, it is what it is. No one was blindsided. No one was cheated on. No one was the victim or the villain. Just let us be and understand it was a breakup. So there you go. She's trying to clear her name. No cheating rumors. or no cheating evidence in this relationship. So there you go. All right, number 4, the Grammys happened this week. We did touch on them earlier on the Wednesday episode when we had Zach Peter on, talking about everything that, well, we didn't talk about everything. We mentioned a couple things that went down, but obviously some of the big headlines. Beyoncé finally did it. She won Album of the Year for Cowboy Carter. A lot of people talking about whether or not this would be the album that she should have won. Personally, Lemonade, I think, was an amazing album that should have walked away with Album of the Year. I don't remember who she was up against. She may have been up against Billie Eilish at that time, which obviously tough competition that year. But Cowboy Carter is some people saying it's not their favorite album of hers, and that Grammys kind of threw her a bone after not giving her Album of the Year so many times that they were like, oh shit, we should probably just do it. Let's give it to her for this one. Whatever. I guess that is a personal choice. Kendrick Lamar won Record of the Year for his song Not Like Us, which just was a stab to the heart for Drake, I got to imagine, because the whole thing is a diss song on Drake. And so for him to get nominated, I think he won 5 Grammys this year for that song. Now he's got the Super Bowl performance coming up this weekend. So it's a big, big month for Kendrick Lamar. And I got to imagine Drake is just sitting home sulking. So anyway, Lady Gaga, she actually premiered her new music video for Abracadabra during a commercial break. Have to say, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. To me, I was excited. It was like Gaga finally being back into her old Gaga ways with the crazy outfits, the over-the-top fashion, which was, I think, the thing that people fell in love with her for. And that is what Chappell Roan is doing. She's leaning into that over-the-top craziness because it's fun to watch. People are entertained. Janelle Monáe did a big tribute to Quincy Jones in full, like Michael Jackson cosplay. She was dressed up like Michael, singing like Michael. She did an amazing moonwalk. I was very impressed with the moonwalk. The Weeknd did a performance. He was the big surprise performer of the Grammys. His performance was actually really, really cool. He was in this big like hooded outfit, and there was like levels of the stage where people's hands were coming out, their bodies were coming out. It was really cool looking. So if you haven't seen it, go Google it. Chappell Roan had a message for the record labels when she won Best New Artist. She basically said that artists deserve better, that they need to be taken care of by the label. She's like, we're making you a lot of money. What are you doing for us? So basically promoting them, really helping out with medical and insurance with these smaller artists who don't have the money. Benson Boone had a really cool performance. So they actually had all the best new artists perform like one after another. And Benson Boone got up there. Heidi Klum and Nikki Glaser actually ripped off his clothes, like his suit or his tuxedo. And he had this like sparkly blue onesie under it. And I was like, okay, whatever. He got up, and I thought he was going to dance on top of his piano, but instead like did a side flip off and landed, and it was the coolest thing. And then 2 seconds later did this standing backflip. I don't know. He just made it look so smooth, so cool. Go check it out if you have not. I would say viral moment of the night was Beyoncé when she won Country Music Album of the Year. Her surprise look had everyone laughing, making all kinds of memes about it. So I wouldn't be surprised if you saw that somewhere on online this week. Who else? Doechii won for Best Rap Album. She rocked her performance as well. Did a really, really good job. Sabrina Carpenter walked home with 2 Grammys this year. And she had a performance. She did Espresso and Please, Please, Please. Huge year for her. I was honestly surprised that she only got 2 Grammys, but that well deserved Grammys, I must say. Kanye West, if you didn't see it, walked the red carpet with Bianca, just butt ass naked. Well, she technically had a dress on. It was just so see-through that you saw everything. She had all of her bits out on display on the red carpet and had a lot of people talking. There was some funny posts this week where I saw AI generated post where she was actually the clothed one and he was the naked one. And I think it was just a dig at him for like making her always just walk around showing off her body parts. And she really does look miserable. It's really sad. She's clearly sticking with him, but I gotta hope there's someone in her life going, Bianca, blink twice if you need help, because this man is making you walk around naked at every moment and you're just exposed all the time. I will say, if they ever break up, if she sits down for an interview, that will get a lot of ratings. Chappell Roan obviously made her Grammy debut in full clown makeup. A lot of people putting up references to the Mad Hatter, Johnny Depp's Mad Hatter, and all the makeup and the red hair. Pretty fun. But again, great performance. She did Pink Pony Club. Really, really good performance of it. And then the weird dunce cap was on another level. I think that was kind of the big things. Hopefully I didn't forget too much. There was a really awkward moment, if you guys didn't see it this week, that went viral where the AP was doing an interview with Babyface, and one of the interviewers literally ignored him and started yelling, Chapo, come over here. And you see Babyface, who is a massive artist. He was like, did you want to talk to her? And just walks off. It was really sad. And then they start talking to Chappell, and I'm thinking, what a disrespectful, shitty moment that you've got an interview with Babyface and Chappell's behind, and she was like waiting her turn. They probably could have had the interview with Chappell after they finished with Babyface, and they end up, he walks off and everyone just cringed. So just really rude. Queen Latifah, by the way, was there presenting, I think it was like the Icon Award or something like that, to Alicia Keys, but her outfit was really cool. I haven't seen Queen Latifah up on stage for a while and loved seeing her there. Anyway, I think that was kind of about it. Some of the big moments from the Grammys. So yeah. Anyway, all right, let's move on to number 3. Number 3 is, what was it? Oh, Marcus Jordan got arrested this week. Marcus Jordan, obviously Michael Jordan's son. We've talked about him. He dated Larsa Pippen for a long time. Well, he got arrested and admitted to doing some drinking, and he did the awkward thing where he told the cops who he was. He said, I'm Michael Jordan's son, which you never want to do. So there's body camera footage that was released by police this week, shedding some light onto the moments leading up to his arrest. He was charged with cocaine possession, driving under intoxication, and resisting arrest on February 4th. The footage was from the Maitland Police Department, and they shared it. And basically, it's arriving to find the 34-year-old star, and he's at the wheel of his blue sports car, which was stuck on the side of train tracks. So basically, they get there, and you see this car. He can't get it unstuck, and the officer is telling him, can you get out of the vehicle, because there could be a train coming by? And he goes, I know, that's why I'm trying to get the fuck out of here. And the officer is like, all right, well, hop out. Let's talk to you. Let's figure out what's going on. They had a bunch of questions like, how the hell did you get here in the first place? And he goes, well, I got a little discombobulated. I took the wrong turn and ended up on the tracks. And then at one point, Jordan could be heard referencing his famous father, which he goes, I'm Marcus Jordan. I'm Michael Jordan's son. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just trying to get home. I made a wrong turn, okay? He said, the last thing I wanted to do was put my car on the tracks. Obviously, it's a $330,000 car. Why would I want to be on the tracks? And the officer then asked him, have you had any alcohol or used any substances prior to getting behind the wheel? And he admitted, look, I've had a little bit to drink tonight, but under the legal limit. And then the body cam footage shows Jordan trying to attempt a field sobriety test, and one officer asking him, on a scale of 0 to 1, 0 being sober, what number was he? And he responded with a 3. And then instantly the officers began handcuffing him. And then when the officer said he had believed Jordan had too much to drink tonight, he goes, I disagree with that, sir, but whatever you say, I hear you, but I disagree. And then there's additional footage which showed Jordan arguing with the officers after he was handcuffed and got inside the police car. And he repeatedly told the officers, I'm not drunk, and that his opinion was different from the cops. So I don't know. It didn't seem like he was resisting arrest. It seemed like he was annoyed with the whole situation. So I assume that this will it is getting a lot of attention. I guess the officer in the report said that Jordan insisted his blood alcohol content was under the legal limit of 0.08. But they're saying that he was unable to complete any of the 3 field sobriety tests at the scene, that there was an odor of alcoholic beverage and that was getting stronger as he spoke, and that he was getting irritated and agitated while he was talking to them. So he was set on a $4,000 bond. The video wasn't crazy. The crazy part is seeing his really expensive car stuck on the tracks. And so I'm assuming we're going to hear more about this, him defending himself. The video didn't seem totally like stumbling around or anything like that. So we're gonna have to wait. I'm curious to see what his actual blood alcohol level was, with whether it was below 0.08 or above. But the cocaine possession is going to be a bit of a problem for him. Okay. Moving on to number 2, Gisele Bündchen welcomes her 3rd baby with her boyfriend, Joaquin Valente. We've been talking about this for the last couple months after finding out that she was pregnant, but she is a mom again. The 44-year-old Brazilian supermodel welcomed her 3rd baby, but this is her first, obviously, with Joaquin. The other 2 she's had with Tom Brady, Vivian and Benjamin. Vivian, who's now 12, Benjamin, who's 15. But this is her first. And by the way, sorry, I don't know if this is a boy, girl. They did not give out any more details other than she had the baby. I don't know name. I don't know weight. I don't know nothing for you guys in regards to details about the baby other than she gave birth. So people, I guess her people told people that she was excited to embrace this new chapter openly, and that she's received many positive messages and congratulations, and that the insider, I guess, added that she wanted to keep it private for as long as she could. So doing that was starting to be a challenge. So there you go. That is the news. Gisele Bündchen giveth birtheth. All right. Moving on to the number 1 story of the week, which, good God, it feels like it's been 47 years of this, but Blake Lively now being sued for defamation by a crisis PR firm who got wrapped into the It Ends With Us feud. If you remember, during some of the initial talks where Blake was blaming Justin and his PR team, and that they had hired a crisis PR person to come in who was the digital gun, I think they called it, or the legal gun. I don't remember what the actual term that they called this guy, but that he was really the one behind it because he had worked in crisis PR, and he was rallying the troops online and getting all of these stories out there. This is what she alleges, getting all these stories out there on Justin's behalf to make her look bad, to hurt her reputation, using microbloggers, using influencers, using all these people to push the narrative that Baldoni wants. Well, now Jed Wallace of Street Relations, he filed a complaint in the Texas federal court on Tuesday, accusing Lively of defamation for roping him into the crossing lawsuits, where she basically said that he created artificial content on social media platforms and appeared to attack her and defend Baldoni. He is now seeking $7 million and a court order stating that he did not engage in harassment or retaliation against the actress. So it is a lot of court cases. You got the Justin Baldoni one for hundreds of millions of dollars, this one for $7 million. I see them being wrapped up in court for a little bit. With this, I gotta think they were probably very happy fighting over, the creative rights to this. It Ends With Us, but at this point, they have to want to go back, and if they could do it all over again, either scrap this project, say no to it, or whatever. I saw some of the other headlines that came out this week. Justin Baldoni saying that she burst the budget for the movie on fashion, and people are kind of making fun of that because they're like, her fashion wasn't even that great in the movie. How the hell did she need a $600,000 budget for wardrobe when the fashion kind of sucked? I don't know. I'm not a fashion person, so I can't agree or disagree with that. but I will say there's a lot of people's minds changing, me including, going back and forth between who's right and who's wrong. And seeing full context on a lot of this is helping perspective, I would say, with Justin Baldoni releasing every text message, every ounce of communication between the two of them, starting to see that maybe he's not such a bad guy, that he got wrapped up into a bad situation, and maybe he really is getting the raw end of this whole situation. So anyway, that is your top 10 stories of the week. Make sure you tune in next week to hear all of Adam's adventures at the Super Bowl in New Orleans. I'm sure he's going to have some great stuff to tell us. Make sure you're following us on social media at Hollywood Raw. If you want to join our private Facebook group, Off the Record, there is a link. You can go to hollywoodraw.com. There's a link there. We will be doing our Ask Us Anything episode coming up. You can submit those questions on the private Facebook group. We were supposed to have it this week, but things got crazy with Justin and Blake that we had to do that. Next week, we'll do Super Bowl. Maybe we'll get to Ask Us Anything. Anyway, it'll be coming up in the next little bit. We're kind of adjusting as news stories break. But yeah, you can go ask us all those questions. Find the post on there. Add your questions. We'll be getting to those soon enough. Nothing's off limit. You guys can ask us whatever you want. We answer anything. And then you can also follow us personally at Dax Holt, at Adam Glyn. And we will see you guys next week. Have a good one. Bye. Oh, no.
What's up, guys? If you like that video, there's plenty more where that came from.
Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell so we can just feed you all the goodness daily.
Hurry up. Come on, let's go.